My name is Imran Shabazz, and as communicated yesterday, I'm live with you on my Facebook page in order to discuss action words, command words, and exam techniques relating to NEBOSH certificate level qualification. Let's start discussion, guys, on what are the things that may result in referral when you are appearing in NEBOSH certificate level qualification. There are, guys, different things that may lead to referral for certificate level qualification, which may include lack of understanding on command words, mainly identify, outline, describe, explain, and give. Then lack of communication, poor communication, especially for candidates weak in language like English. Third thing, it may include not understanding question properly, appropriately, and answering it in not required by the examiner. It may include spending much time on one question and sparing less time for other questions, resulting in no attempt to all question, and hence less marks in that case. And there are many other things, lack of preparation as well in terms of examination. Candidate is lacking in the understanding of knowledge, IGC1 and GC2 example, and not understanding of practical issues or work activities and processes. So these could be the failures or these could be the issues that may lead to failure or referral to candidates in certificate level examination. NEBOSH is actually a board, National Examination Board of Occupational Safety and Health, and it may help you actually by providing you knowledge on different health and safety aspects, and ultimately it will enhance your competency. And when you are competent, it will help you in to implement health and safety issues. It will help you to understand health and safety issues. It will help you to provide solutions relating to workplace health and safety issues, and obviously it will help you to obtain a better job and a good opportunity in health and safety and promotion within the organization as well. And that's how it will help you guys. So this is the answer of Mr. Shiva Kumar, how it can help you on site. Walaikum salam, Mr. Muhammad Zubair. Thank you so much. Mr. Zulkunan, thank you so much for the appreciation. Guys, I would like to intimate all you that I'm currently in Dubai at the moment, and will be here for next few days. Anyone from you guys wish to meet me can come to Shield's office for health and safety discussion on health and safety issues, consultation on health and safety qualifications, including NEBOSH International Diploma, including NVQ level 5, including certificate level, along with the career counseling, how they can actually promote themselves in health and safety, and how they can actually make sure they are getting good job in future. So I'm really happy to help you guys. So let's move back on action word, command words, and exam techniques. Good evening, Mr. Mara Ramesh. Thank you so much. Same to you. Mr. Shahryar Khan, I will definitely answer all these questions which are not relevant at the moment with the topic we are discussing. Yes, I can tell you the hazard of refueling in refineries, but I will be answering later on. But let's focus on exam techniques for NEBOSH certificate level qualification along with the command words. So one by one we need to discuss things. Mr. Khalid Mahmood, I can brief you about chemical safety, but again, the topic is command word and exam techniques. There is a question from Mr. Mara Ramesh as well. What is COSH? COSH is actually control of substance hazardous to health that may harm your health, that may lead to any damage to your cells, body cells, that may lead to cancer, that may lead to damage to lungs, that may lead to damage to respiratory systems, etc., etc. And NEBOSH is actually the word I have actually explained what it is, and there is a regulation with name NEBOSH in UK as well, and that's particularly for chemical and substances. So, Mr. Kashif Mahmood, yeah, surely we will conduct a session on chemical safety later on, and I will try my best to answer your concerns right after this session. So, guys, there are mainly 5 command words very important for certificate level, and if you understand command to pass your exam, it will lead to a good result. So let's start with the command word. The first command word I would like to discuss is identify. Identify is the type of command word where examiner is actually looking to answer such as name, title, or phrase, and that is more than enough. If you see here, I have written to give a clear reference to an item or title, and it could be phrase, name, or title of any particular item. So if you see here, it's given identify to give reference to an item, where to reference to item which could be actually name or title, and you need to make sure it's not explanation. You need to make sure it's not description. It should be phrase, title, or name. And for example, in this paper, there is a question, identify 4 types of safety sign. So in that case, you can see here. So see here, guys, it's clearly written, prohibition sign, the first one. If you have to identify. In this case, examiner is asking 4 type of safety signs. So in that case, prohibition sign is the first one. And this is how you need to write in identify form. Normally 2 or 3 words are enough. Name or title is enough. If you see, warning sign is the second one in that case. If you see, third one is mandatory signs, and the fourth one is emergency or safe condition signs. So this is how you need to answer in identify type questions. So there may be other questions as well when you are identifying or you are writing identify or answering identify type question. He may ask identify the reasons for maintaining and promoting or managing health and safety. So in that case, you may write moral reasons, legal reasons, and financial reasons. That is what he is asking from you. So you need to make sure you understand what is identify. If you answer identify correctly, you will get actual marks. And in this case, I would say identify type questions are very simple, and it help you to gain marks in examination easily. So this is the simple question I have actually presented you guys. Mr. Suleiman Khan, thank you so much for your compliment and saying that I'm a knowledgeable person. I can appreciate for the compliment, but again, I'm still learning. I'm in the learning phase as well, and we need to learn till death. This is what we should do, and I'm learning as well. And obviously, everyone is in the learning phase in this world. So every day we learn new things from different areas, different things, different activities, different processes, people, seniors, juniors, books, everywhere. So there is a Shahryar Khan, define direct cost and indirect cost. Mr. Shahryar Khan, direct cost is actually the cost which is directly coming from the incident or accident. For example, first aid is the direct cost, or for example, the immediate medical treatment on the site is direct cost. Secondly, if you see indirect cost, any cost which is not direct from the event or loss event, but from the consequences of the event. For example, investigation is not the direct cost. It is indirect cost. It is uninsured cost, and that is what the main difference. There is a question from Mr. Usman. what is the difference between incident and near miss. Guys, in HSG 245, I guess currently the new definition of incident and accident is any particular event that is undesirable or unplanned event resulted in any particular loss is called incident or accident. Near miss is any unplanned or undesirable event that could have resulted in loss, however it did not. This is the main difference. So let's move to the second action word, guys. That's give. In give type of action word, guys, if we see, that's clearly written to provide short factual answers, and it should be normally a single word or phrase or a sentence. This is maximum it should be. In give type question, examiner may ask you, for example, identify 4 type of signs with an example in each case. So in that case, you need to identify the sign first. If you see here, identify, prohibition sign is the identification, and then example could be no smoking. If you see here, mandatory sign is the identification, and then example could be again hot surface, caution hot surface, caution forklift movement. Mandatory sign could be again wear air protection is the example, and it could be again mandatory sign. Emergency sign and safe condition could be the first aid is the example there, identification and then example. Examiner may ask you in give type question, give the meaning of the term hazard. So in that case, you need to make sure you are writing correct meaning or standard definition of that particular item. For example, a hazard is anything that has the potential to cause harm. So this is what you need to write, a sentence, a phrase, a word. So according to the question, you need to make sure you are writing in this style. This is what the question look like, and the answer should be, the sufficient answer should be, that will help you to obtain few marks. Let's move, guys, on next action word, which is outline, and very important, guys. And outline is type of action word that is used by examiner frequently and often, and most of the questions are asked in outline style, and you need to familiar yourself with outline style. Outline style is where you need to make sure important feature or principal feature is given, and brief description of that particular important feature is also given in the answer. Rather giving explanation or description, that's not required. So this is what you need to do. So if you see here, guys, I clearly written that to indicate the principal feature. So that's what it is. Guys, you can see, you can watch my video as well on YouTube on command words. I will try my best to actually shoot a new video for you on command word in English as well shortly. So it will help people cannot understand Urdu, but the people understand Urdu, they can actually go to YouTube and they can visit YouTube and watch my video. So if you see here, the question is outline 4 type of safety signs. That is what it is. In that case, if you see here, the answer, prohibition sign is the first thing, important feature, principal feature you need to identify here, and then you need to give a brief description in 1 sentence. That's what he's asking. Circular with red border, red diagonal bar and black symbol. This is what typical example. Similarly about warning sign, similarly about mandatory sign, similarly about safe or emergency sign, safe condition or emergency sign. This is what you need to see. Thank you, Mr. Usman. I really appreciate. There is a question from Mr. Taj Noor. What is the risk and what is the risk assessment? Guys, risk is the combination of 2 things, which is one is actually likelihood or probability, anything that could happen, and second thing in the risk is actually severity and or consequences. What will happen if something happen or the loss event will happen, the losses, and that is what equal to the risk is. So combination of likelihood and consequences is risk. And whereas when we come to risk assessment is actually a careful examination of your work area where you identify hazards, risk, and identify control by keeping in view existing control measures. This is what the process called risk and risk assessment. This is, I hope, guys, this will help you. So Let's move forward, guys. We need to move forward. Mr. Suleiman Khan is suggesting that you also create WhatsApp group of professional guys. I will try my best to create a professional group for health and safety professionals, but I'm not sure what could be the capacity, maximum capacity we can actually add, the individual we can add in that group. So we need to first consult with any IT individual, and then we can form a WhatsApp group. Yes, Mr. Mohsen Mushtaq, that's true that NEBOSH regularly review and revise their syllabus, and I guess the previous revision was in 2014, so I'm not sure when would be the next one. So this is what it is. So let's move on to the next action word, that is describe. Describe is the action word in which you need to make sure you provide detail of written account of distinctive feature about the particular item that has been asked by examiner. And you do not need to explain, you do not need to give relationship, how it will work, why it will work. You need to provide only information about that particular item. So if we see here, hazard associated with describe the hazard associated with the mechanical hazard with the bench grinder. In that case, you need to identify any particular hazard. You need to describe any particular hazard that is available for bench mounted grinder. So in that case, you can see an entanglement hazard could be available, drawing in could be available, again stabbing or puncture could be available. That is written in the paragraph form, and that is what you need to write down. You do not need to explain, you do not need to give information about the process, activity or mechanism, how grinder will work, why it will work, how it will injure someone, why it will injure someone. This is what you need to make sure. You need to describe only about, you need to give description of the grinder only. This is the fourth one. And when we move to the fifth and the last one, guys, and this action word is also very important, explain. Explain type action word is always, it is for the clear understanding on particular item, how and why it could happen or something could happen. So this is what you need to give. So in that case, for example, the question is how tripping device or sensitive protective devices can reduce the risk of injury to individual or people from moving machinery or from moving parts. In that case, you may give a clear relationship that protective devices or trip devices can reduce the risk by detecting again body and or presence of individual or their body, and by stopping the machine or by stopping the mechanism or by shutting down the machine in that case. So you need to give a clear idea how it will work, why it will stop, how it will stop, and how it will reduce the risk. In that case, this is what in the explanation, this is the main difference between description or describe and explain question. And that's what all about guys, action words. If you see, I will be writing a blog on this command word items and exam techniques as well. When we move for examination, guys, we need to make sure we revise properly. We need to make sure we are studying appropriately. We do have proper notes, we do have a book, we do have study short notes, we do have revision aids such as question answers, such as quick revision aids, such as you can say flashcards, etc. We need to see, we are watching videos on different activities, processes and different equipments, so that will give you understanding as well. So you need to make sure your communication level is good, you understand the syllabus requirement, you need to make sure you are actually understanding what is written in the book and syllabus. You need to make sure you are clarify on things like equipment, tools, machines. You need to make sure you are fully prepared when moving to examination. You need to make sure, guys, when you are appearing in examination, read the questions carefully for first 5 minutes and make sure that you have a sketch in your mind what type of question examiner is actually asking and what action words or command words these questions have been given and how I need to answer. So make sure first of all you should be familiar with the action word, you should be familiar with the answering style, and then answer it appropriately within the time limit. So you need to make sure the number of marks available, spend the number of minutes on that particular question, and then in the revision session you may add some different things in as well. So this is what you need to do, guys. There is a question from Mr. Raja Tosif. I want to do NEBOSH course, please advise me. Actually my education 3 years DA in chemical. Mr. Raja Tosif, I would advise, if you want to do NEBOSH, you should make sure your communication is good. You should make sure having some sort of expertise in health and safety, or either you can go for a basic course before you go for NEBOSH qualifications in order to develop your understanding on health and safety issues. So this is, guys, what you need to do when go for examination, and typical command words or action words can be followed, exam techniques that could be followed, guys. I hope so this is helping you guys. I will try my best to spare some time in next week as well, and to make sure, guys, having live interaction with you guys. So there is a question from Mr. Suleiman Khan. Difference between risk assessment and JSA. Guys, risk assessment is a formal process in which we generally use risk metrics as well, and there are different methodologies that has been used for risk assessment. Quantitative, qualitative, and semi-quantitative, and other methods like HAZOP, etc. However, when we go for JSA, JSA is particularly for a task, JSA is particularly for an activity, it's particularly for a process, and in that case you might not use risk metrics, and you will not calculate the severity or the consequences or the probability. You may identify, that is actually part of safe system of work as well. You may identify hazards, you may identify the control, and you will implement it. This is, I guess, guys, the main difference between it. So Mr. Ghaus Basha, I actually updated, I guess yesterday I updated the time for my live session. Yeah, surely I will try my best to update next time a couple of days earlier, so it would give you extra time to read or watch my video, to read my post, and to be with me live on the page. And this is what I can do. There is a question from Mr. Raja Tasif. I do job now security in Dubai. Yes, if you are doing job in security in Dubai, guys, still there are different companies offering different basic qualifications, even on evening sessions and in our weekend session as well. So you may complete these qualifications. So, and then you should move to NEBOSH qualification in that particular case. So thank you so much, guys. I hope this session will help you, and I will actually try my best to conduct next session shortly next week, and I will update you a couple of days earlier. So thank you so much, guys. Stay blessed. Any question left unanswered, or I didn't answer, I will try my best to answer these questions right after the live call or live conversation, and in that case I will be answering these questions. I will upload interview related question answers, guys, once again, and we are working on next parts of these question answers as well, and shortly we'll be uploading